Fathers Who Bother is made possible in part by the contributions of listeners like you. To support Fathers Who Bother, go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/, Fathers Who Bother and become a monthly subscriber today. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fathers Who Bother, a podcast for men who are dad as we want to be. I have a very special return guest. My brother Mickey Factz is back
It's Mickey.
after being one of our first guests last year, and a lot has changed with him. His son is now a year old, and we're going to talk about his first year of parenting that he is now celebrated with the release of a whole project entitled Hugh,
Yes.
which is incredible in everything that we made this podcast for.
Crazy.
And how his experience is manifested in his art. So welcome back to the podcast, Mickey.
Thank you for having me back here. It's funny when I was, completing the project, I was like, oh man, Jerry got a podcast specifically for fathers, Black fathers. This is gonna be perfect for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Exactly.
hope he's open to doing another interview, and
Of course.
maybe even using like a song as a theme music. Who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, send me the TV track. We can make a lot happen.
Okay, cool, cool.
Have the instrumental playing the whole time, man. So huge. So a year later, first of all, his first birthday was
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Yep,
Happy
126.
Happy birthday. What was that like?
Well, it was like a regular day up until later that night. Because of COVID, we basically had to get our gifts from him early, so we didn't, he's only one, so he's not gonna understand how to rip present wrapping open.
Mm,
And he doesn't really understand that it's his birthday yet.
right.
We I played usually every morning I play Sesame Street for him, ABCs, but that morning I played a bunch of happy birthday Sesame Street songs for him, and we kind of just took it like a regular day until it was time to, cut the cake and, talk to family members and friends on Zoom. So it was just that was the only difference of the day, really.
Okay. What's his favorite Sesame? Does he have a favorite Sesame Street character?
Elmo, obviously.
Mm,
But so it's a little difficult finding black people that are on Sesame Street that
mm,
kind of sing certain things for us. I think
mm.
they're starting to do it more diverse now, but like
Right.
in the past, it was a little difficult. So he actually loves, when I say love, I mean loves India Ari,
Oh,
loves her singing the ABCs, and Usher is a close second.
that's dope. It's been many moons since I've watched Sesame Street. So,
Yeah.
is it still accessible on public television? 'Cause I know it was on HBO.
It's on HBO Max, like it's definitely on HBO Max currently, but we watch it on YouTube. I created an ABC playlist for him on YouTube.
Oh,
That's
nice.
right. We watch it there.
So, tell me about him. What have you observed about him in this first year of life?
Uh, I have observed that he has a very good memory, and his memory is more sonar, so sound. So I try to incorporate specific sounds with his toys and when reading.
Mm,
And whenever I do that, he'll stop whatever it is that he's doing, whether he's crying, whether he's joking or laughing, and he will stop, turn around, and see what's going on. So, like, we have a big Thomas the Tank Engine. If he's harassing his mother, I'll take the train and I'll push it around the apartment going choo choo, and he'll stop crying,
mm.
turn around, and then crawl to me laughing. Same thing with the Law and Order SVU theme music. That is his favorite theme music.
Well, I mean, that is a hot beat, but that's interesting. I didn't see that one coming.
Well, that comes from, so when people say things like, play classical music
Right.
when, the baby's in the womb, it'll soothe the baby and things like that. So Aisha watched Law and Order relentlessly while she was pregnant and while the first 6 weeks.
Yes.
So whenever that show comes on, he stops I don't care what he's doing, he will stop. Even when we went to the doctor for him to get a shot, he was getting a shot and we played it and he didn't feel it. It was just like,
That's crazy. Well, if there's one show that you can binge without repeating anything, is Law and Order.
it's Law and Order.
Law and Order is the perfect pregnancy binge show because you'll start it at the start of your pregnancy.
And
You will deliver that baby without having repeated an episode.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Oh,
And
that's
that's SVU. That's not even the original Law and Order.
Oh,
what I'm saying? So
wow.
if you do both, you can go through the pregnancy with both.
Yo, I think we used to watch that too, and it got funny when you started to notice certain actors would show up in other episodes when they might have been like criminal number 1 in the 5th episode, but then by episode 25 they're like the lawyer or the judge. It's like, hey, hold on, don't you recognize so and so from that last episode? And you only catch it because you've been binging it back to back for the last 3 weeks. It's crazy.
Yep, we've noticed that a lot, so it's a little awkward, but he loves it. So that and reading, I read books in a specific voice, so he knows what book it is, and he's loving his ABCs of science and chemistry and physics. So we're on that type of time with it.
Oh, you are not playing around. I tried that with my son, trying to get him into like chemistry. It didn't stick, but hey, expose it to him and see what happens.
He's loving it.
Yeah,
he's not so. Aisha is trying to get him into sign language, and he's not receptive to it. But he's receptive to hip hop and the books. That's what he's very receptive to, and sound.
Okay. What does he have a favorite food yet?
Yogurt.
Okay.
He loves yogurt. He'll eat yogurt all day long.
Any particular flavor or just
vanilla? Because that's what Aisha eats. So it's vanilla yogurt. That's all he eats all day long. And he'll eat anything except for food. So he'll eat paper, he'll eat plastic, he'll eat his toys, he'll eat everything but food.
Does he have has he started cutting teeth yet?
Yes, he has 4 teeth currently, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top.
The toofuses. My son took a minute to cut his teeth. Like he was gumming chicken bones at his first birthday.
Wow.
And right after, because we were nervous, like we thought they would have to like cut the gums to let the teeth out. But thankfully they came through on their own, maybe like a month after his first birthday.
Yeah. So he has 4 teeth now, so thankfully. And it's tough, his teething is always tough for the kids. So
I was gonna ask what's been the hardest part so far, because you sound like you got everything so under control. I'm like,
definitely don't. Sleep training has been a nightmare for Aisha and me, mostly Aisha. Okay. She doesn't want to let him cry, so because she doesn't want to let him cry, she gets up and goes, because she's still breastfeeding, so she'll get up and breastfeed him no matter if he's crying. After she did it, she'll just do it, and she can't take the crying. And no matter how much I'm like, let him cry, she's not trying to hear that. So it's really tough.
So you're trying to get him to go to sleep at a specific time.
Yeah.
So you have a pre-sleep routines, like the feeding, the bath, the massage, all that stuff?
Yeah, so he's going to sleep at like 7:30, 8, and then he'll wake up again like 12. No, actually he'll wake up again at 10, and then he'll go back to sleep until like 1, and then 2 more times throughout the night before he's up for the rest of the day. And he's 1. It's just tough. It's tough.
That is tough. We got lucky. We got lucky because my son, he slept for about 5 hours, and the trick was I would feed him while he was asleep. And then with my daughter, I don't know, she was an anomaly. She would sleep for like 6 hours. She would give us 6 hours, which for a baby is
unbelievable.
Huge. If you don't know, if you have a baby that we were a little nervous and like, yo, why is she not waking up? Right. She just liked her sleep. So
yeah, 3 hours. We'll be lucky if we get 3-4 hours at a time. It's tough.
I started loading up his food, his bottles. Give him the itis.
Listen, I be trying to tell this girl, she ain't trying to listen to me though. So I don't know. It's tough, bro. It's
As
tough.
long as you don't mistakenly get him drunk like Open Mike Eagle did. Did you see?
Oh man, no, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I heard about it though. I heard about it though.
Go back to the Open Mike Eagle episode. One of his boys mistakenly he was making sangria and mixed up the bottles and some of the juice. So he's like, I got my baby drunk, Jerry.
What happened with the baby?
Oh, they said the baby was a little sleepy. That was about it. It wasn't like a whole bottle of alcohol. It was like, a couple drops.
Drops.
Realized what had happened, but the baby was like, "Hey, man,
Woozy. Oh my gosh, hungover baby."
I forget how old he said, but if y'all listening, go back to our Open Mike Eagle episode and
Wow, I'm gonna check that out.
Story. So Hugh,
Yeah.
this child of yours, this wonderful, cute, adorable baby, by the way, he is a handsome fellow. Inspired you to do an album.
Yes.
Which is a very rapper thing to do. A rapper rap. If there's one thing a rap dad's gonna do, a rap dad's gonna make an album for his kid.
I made a whole album about this.
Made a whole album. Talk to me about this album. When did you decide? Because I know we talked about you were keeping a daily journal for him and doing all this really cool stuff, but you decided that wasn't enough. I need enough.
So I came up with this concept like in April, like while we were in quarantine. And I had a producer that I wanted to produce the whole thing. And I just kind of got caught up doing other projects and other music. So I pushed it to the back burner. And then obviously Warp Collages came out. We did A-, and then we moved to Atlanta. So I would say like in the middle of December, I was like, his birthday's coming up. I was like, let me finish this Hugh project up. Because at that point, I had only had one verse for the Hugh at that point, like the middle of December. And I was like, let me see if I could get this Hugh project done. And I went through my email, I saw some beats from some producers, and I reached out to the original guy that was going to do the whole project. And we came to an agreement on like, he made 3 beats on the project. And then I wrote it in like 3 days. I wrote the whole project in like 3 days from watching him. So I was sleep training him and writing while I was sleep training him. And then I went into the studio and recorded it all in a day.
Wow.
I recorded the whole project in 8 hours. And then Aisha, she caught wind of what I was doing and was like, I want to do something too.
Oh.
And I was like, okay. So I was like, all right, let me produce it for you. So I went and produced this whole poetry album for her. It'll be out tomorrow, actually.
Oh, wow.
And in between producing her project, I had to get choruses for the album as well as do edits on my album, on top of everything else I've been doing. So like it was January was a nightmare a little bit, but we got it done, and it got done.
Oh, word. So let's talk about this. The title is his middle name.
His middle name, Hugh. Yes.
Hugh. Okay.
And I was like, that could be a double entendre for his middle name as well as skin color. So I thought it was perfect, right, for a project name, Hugh.
Okay. So first, it opens up with it sounds like a conversation about RZA. Did I hear that correctly?
RZA and DJ Premier.
Okay.
So, RZA, he had a better lineup. Yeah, I know, but I personally liked RZA better.
I taped that conversation between, it was right after Versus.
Okay.
When we were watching Versus, me and him and Aisha. And when we were done, because he was very talkative that night for some reason, watching that.
Okay.
So then I was like, let me tape him while we're talking about it. And I taped him talking about it with him. And that was the real conversation that had happened.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's
keeping it hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Who do you think won that versus?
I gave it to RZA.
Okay. Okay.
It was a nail biter. I gave it to RZA, and then RZA just went crazy after 20 songs. It was not even.
Yeah, I remember having a problem with Preem's song selection because I knew his arsenal. He had the records, but he
Yeah.
picked some songs that I was like, no, that's not the one.
I think RZA. I mean, excuse me. I think Premier, was being nice, and he was like, I'm gonna let RZA get this, because if you think about it, like RZA, I mean, Premier got Nas, Jay, and Big.
Right,
Like
right,
you can't go wrong. Like that's the Trinity.
right, 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 right.
Biggie, Jay Z, and Nas. Like you got three bigs. You got three bigs. You got about five Nas's, and then you got about six Jay Z's.
Right.
It's like that's like 13 records, and that's not even Gangstar. That's not even.
Right, right.
That's not even. The list goes on and on and on. So it was just weird. I was like, but I think he did that on purpose.
So that track "Find a Way" features Tony Williams. Talk to me
Yes.
about that one.
So Cartoon Beats produced that beat, and when I heard it, it reminded me of these are a few of my favorite things. That the piano for it kind of had the same tone for me.
Okay.
And the beat was called Find My Way. And I was like, this feels like an intro. So I wanted to talk about the birthing experience that I went through and when he was born. So a lot of the lyrics talk about the experience at the birth center. We didn't go to a hospital, we went to a birthing center.
Right.
And just kind of seeing him, and seeing what Aisha was going through, which was crazy. And then him having his expenditures there, right? Like appendages, part of me there, and it was just like, okay, everything is intact. He's a healthy baby. And I wanted to kind of get that to come across musically, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with a chorus at first. And then it dawned on me. I forgot what I think Tony had reached out to me for something, and then I was like, oh, Tony would sound great over this. And then I sent it to Tony. He heard it. He was like, oh, this is incredible. I'm going to do it. And thank God, Good Music cleared the record at the last minute. When I say last minute, I mean at the last minute. Sunday morning at like 3 a.m. Wow. I didn't think it was going to make the deadline. When I woke up Tuesday morning, I was shocked that the project was out because I had stopped promoting it. I was like, I didn't think we were going to make the deadline. My distribution company said I had to get it to them by midnight Thursday or it wouldn't be out Tuesday. But they made it happen. I don't know how that happened. I'm still in shock. So I stopped promoting it, and then I had to re-upload and promote. It was just wild. But thankfully, it happened the way it was supposed to happen.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was a great way to open up. And in Melanin, which seems to be thematic.
Yes.
Who produced this one?
Son, I want you to know you are a shade of the sun. Your complexion was made just to become number one.
So Renz Young produced this from Milwaukee.
Okay.
He produced 2 other records on this project as well. And when I got this particular beat, I didn't know what to do with it. I think the title track for this was Melanin as well. I'm not sure. It might have been Melanin. And I was like, well, if it's about melanin, I want to be able to talk about what colorism meant to me when I was growing up and how we need to be proud of our own particular hue. Black people, we have different shades. We are beautiful shaded people. We have the super dark, we have the caramel, we have the brown sugar, we got the very light albino, and then we have the light skin, and then we have like this in between. Like it's just so many shades. And I wanted to focus on people to be proud of whatever the shade of color they are. And as well as talk about my experiences when I was a teenager. I wanted to be light skinned.
What's so funny is I was listening to it and I remember a schoolyard chant from some kids. This kid that I went to school with, it was maybe third grade, had gone away on vacation
Mm-hmm.
to Jamaica. He came back with a deep, dark tan,
Mm-hmm.
deep tan, and all the girls were singing, Dexter looks like burnt toast. Dexter looks like burnt toast. I was like, damn.
Yeah,
Like,
that's crazy.
and there are people killing to look like
Like
what
burnt
he looked like,
toast.
you know.
It's crazy, bro.
When I heard that line, you said colorism is real. I wanted to be a lighter color around 12. I knew exactly what you were talking about because I remember that.
Yeah, it was a thing because that's what the girls liked at that time. Like light skin was in,
Right.
and that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be that, and then not until I got older did I appreciate my tone. And then obviously things, circle around, and now people want to be darker, and it's like, yeah, this is great. This is great. It feels good, you know. And then we got Joe Andre to sing on the chorus. At first, we were gonna put a sample of a Negro spiritual there, and it was a plan B. And then my engineer, shout out to Carvo Music, he's like, "Yo, I got this guy. I think he's gonna nail it. I think he's gonna do this like Negro spiritual kind of thing." And I was like, what are you talking about? And then I remember I was cooking dinner, and I heard it and I burned myself because it had hit, like the sound of it was like, whoa, I didn't think you could capture that. And he captured it beautifully, and I was just blown away by that chorus. That chorus really makes the song.
There is power in the melanin, kissed by the sun and painted by the heavens, and as above, so below, moving deep in my soul. Coffee colored melanin, all hail the melanin.
Even greater than what it is.
Word. You follow that with You Can Do It. People came together and made one.
Yeah. I mean, we got to have the bars in there at some point.
I love it. You know me. I live for the lyricism. So
yes.
Know.
So this was produced by a kid named Illegal Productions. He's from I believe the West Coast.
Okay.
And he sent me this beat, and it had this Bink like energy to it. And I was like, I'm gonna just rap on this. I just want to rap on this. And I just wanted to kind of talk about him and how he makes me feel, right? And let him know that I'll be here for him. And I didn't have a chorus for this for a while. And then Carvo Music, again, shout out to him. He was like, yo, we should do like the chant, like anything I can do, anything you can do, I can do better. Like he was like, we should turn that into a chorus. And I was like, oh, that's genius. Okay, let's do it. And so that was like one of the only chorus. That's actually the only chorus I did on the whole project. And I played it for my boy before it came out. He was like, yo, it reminds me of like an old 50 Cent chorus a little bit, like the sing songy rapping kind of thing. And because I was a little apprehensive about it. I didn't know if I wanted it to be the chorus after a while, but it works. It works.
You said mommy is where you get your shade from. Has he exhibited any quote unquote shady behavior?
No, so that might so that's why I say after you could take it two ways, like old phones. I was talking about her complexion.
Yeah,
he's a little lighter.
I didn't know if the double entendre was him actually acting shady too.
Well, yeah, sometimes, right? Like he's not a fan of FaceTime, right? Okay. Like he's like, we try to FaceTime him with our relatives, and he's just sullen. He's very sullen. I push him in the Thomas the Tank Engine, hoping that he'll be like smiling, and he'll be like, he's not impressed. So I equate that to shade.
Got you. I think you mentioned that before because it reminded me of like, he was like Michigan J Frog. Like he's happy, and as soon as you put the camera on, it's like,
yep, that's a perfect example of my son.
Gribbet. Like, come on, do the thing.
Nah, he's like, only at the WB. I like chicken. Out to Dave Chappelle.
That's so meta. It's like, next is Black Man.
Every cop ain't a racist, but I'm scared of the basis. They can get away with murder, none of them are ever blameless. I was lucky to survive, 38 and alive. I'ma pray you the same, I'ma pray for your life.
America, what's happening?
Well, this is produced by Renz Young again. He produced Melanin.
Right.
And for this record, this was the last song I recorded for the project.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was another song that I had that I wanted to record to. It was Christopher Williams. There was a sample of this Christopher Williams record that I had. It was "Don't Wake Me, I'm Dreaming." We sampled that, and it was epic. It was beautiful. But the producer lost the session, so we couldn't use it.
Oh wow!
And I was depressed. I was so depressed. And I hit up Renz Young because he already had 2 songs on the project. And I was like, send me a pack of beats. I want to hear what you have. And I picked that beat. And I didn't know what I wanted to rap about until the insurrection happened.
Yeah, I noticed you had. I'm like, how did you get a song about the Capitol riot already?
Bro, I wrote that song maybe a day or two after the insurrection. And we added it, and I was like, it makes sense, right? Like, because the project, if you look at it online, it says Hue and Audio Last Will and Testament. That's what it says on iTunes. So it's like, if I'm not here, I want to teach him certain things. And the first verse is about what do you do when the cop stops you, or when you're approached by a police officer. And I wanted this to be a very serious topic that my son would be able to hear when he's older in the event that I'm not here, as well as just reinforcing what us as Black men need to do when we're stopped by police officers.
Yeah.
And I believe that I did pretty well with that. And the second verse was about the insurrection and you know how different we are on the shades of the spectrum of this rainbow coalition that we're in.
And it's so frustrating seeing how those people are being treated post, like the double standards, the people who are getting bail, while if those were Black folks,
oh man,
and they'd still be under the jail with $2 million bond, or
right.
Like, we intellectually, I knew this was going to happen, but it's still frustrating for me to see it.
Yes.
Like even Trump, they were like, well, let's wait until after the election to hold him accountable. And then after the election, they're trying to say, well, since he's not in office, what's the point? Like, y'all really think we this stupid? Like, really? Y'all kicked the can down the road, said, let's wait till after the election. Now you're trying to say, well, it's moot. The Supreme Court said it was moot because he's no longer in office. What kind of bass-ackward logic? Yeah,
no, it's a shame, and I'm hoping, I was hoping that they did take him to trial because there are certain benefits that presidents get afterwards. There's the post-presidential package that
he just announced the office of the former president that we're paying for. Like, yes, all that stuff needs to go. All that stuff. I don't want to pay for anything more for that man at all.
Yeah, me neither. I hated it, and I'm glad that I was able to capture that. Right. And Novel, he sang the hell out of that chorus, and then he added a rhyme to it. Like, I was shocked when I heard. I didn't ask him for a rhyme,
right?
But I'm glad. I'm so glad that he did that. He was like, "Yo, I had to do it. I felt it. When you sent it to me, I felt that energy, so I had to put something to it."
Right.
And I'm glad that he did that.
Then you have Living featuring Renza.
Gotta be careful, can't be fearful. Learn about what scares you, then leave it in the rear view. Prayerful is how you get closer to your calling. To see a life change, meet the Lord at the altar. Here we go.
Yeah. So this is another beat that Renz produced, and he's singing the chorus on this. Okay. So this was a difficult record to record for me because I was singing on it and using auto-tune.
Yeah. What was that like?
It was out of my element, right? Like, you got to give respect to these guys that do that, man. That is a tough thing to do, to capture that vibe. Oh man, it's a different experience for a lyricist to do. Mm-hmm. But we captured a specific vibe, Shout out to Carvo Music. We worked on that particular song for like 3 hours. Usually I record a song in 20 minutes. That took 3 hours. And I didn't have a chorus. So I begged Renz to do a chorus, and he knocked it out the park. I love his chorus to death. I love the beat to death. And a lot of the lyrics, I wanted the lyrics to be more about finance and for him to know what to do with his money and not to just, get out of control with it.
Have you been following what's been going on?
Yes.
Today?
Yes. I'm going like this, and I'm going like this. I'm going like
Dude,
this.
CNBC has been like freaking reality TV for me. Because I'm not a stock market dude, but I know you've talked a lot about financial literacy before, but this is fascinating to me that folks on Reddit are actually steering the way stocks are being bought and sold right now. And the quote unquote old guard is losing their shit.
Yes.
They're like, wait, this isn't right. But how is what they're doing different from what you guys have been doing for generations? There's this presumed ignorance on the part of the people that's been like, just what I've been gathered from today. Their concern, in air quotes, is that, there are people who haven't been doing research and they're just buying stocks. And then TD Ameritrade was like, nope, we got to stop this. Like, wait a minute. If this was y'all people doing this, you say it was fine. But because there's so much volume and it's presumably average folks, because, there's some possibility it could be other players at work. I don't, keep that option. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, it's people like you and me that can buy smaller percentages of stocks and are doing it. And some of them are making money from it. What's the problem?
This is an interesting thing, right? Like, I think it's interesting that, like you said, they've been doing this for generations. It's just that they haven't done it at this level of volume that the guys on Reddit are doing it at. And it threatens the status quo. And that's the reason why TD Ameritrade shut it down. Like, no, you can't buy anymore. And I was on the phone with them because I wanted to get into options, which is a higher volume of money to make when you sell stock. And they were like, no, you can't buy any anymore. And, that's because, the people that own the billions and the billions, they don't want people to know these. They don't want people to make money. They don't want people to tank hedge funds, because one hedge fund already tanked.
Wow.
A guy already lost like 2 or 3 billion or something like that.
Wow.
He had to get bought out by 2 other hedge funds.
Wow.
So this thing is not going to stop. And it's going to be interesting because, the market drives America.
Right.
And it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of days.
So to the level that you're comfortable sharing, what has been your financial plan for your son thus far? Because my wife and I, we started 529 accounts for our kids when they were born. And let me tell you, those 18 years go by quickly. And it came in handy when he started college. And we were very happy that we had that money. He got scholarships, but it still was really good to have that money. How have you and your wife started planning for his financial?
So currently we have a high yield savings account that we put money into for him. My father has a college fund account that he set up for him, and I match him every month. So he's pretty much set. And then obviously, I'm not working. So, I have my whole little financial goal list over here. I don't know if you can see, but retirement accounts, index mutual funds, and, putting him on a life insurance, which is, on a track that we'll talk about later.
Right.
He's pretty set for now, but we're gonna, we're constantly thinking of different ways to do it. I'm gonna look into this 529 college thing too as well. But we've kind of looked into those 2 or 3 things. My father has a college savings account that I match him in, and then we have a high yield savings account for him here, and then my life insurance plan, which Aisha and him will get.
My son opened his first checking account late last year.
How was that for him?
he felt good, but I was glad I was with him. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he turned 18 in December. He
Mm-hmm.
started, you know, he's doing work study for
Mm-hmm.
school, and we said, well, you should manage your money. You know, you should, when you get paid, you should have a checking account for them to direct deposit your work study money into. So we went to the bank, you know, sat down. It still takes way too long to me. I don't know why it takes so long, but part of the time was that she was trying to push him to get all this other stuff.
Like
Well,
what?
there's the savings account, but the interest is like pointless. So there was no upside to the savings account. You got to keep this minimum balance, but I didn't tell him what to do. I let her give her pitch and let him listen. And I said, "Well, does this make sense to you?" And he was
Mm-hmm.
like, "I was like, what's the interest rate?" And it was like 0.05. That's not a savings account.
That's not saying.
That's pointless.
They
That's
want to use your money to invest in other things.
right, and that's what I explained to him when we left. I said they want to use your money to do what they want to do with it. It's not going to do anything.
Anything for you. Anything.
And then she was like, "Well, do you want to get a credit card against it?"
Oh.
I was like, "For what?"
Oh my gosh.
No, even he was like, because we've had the credit card discussion before, because that was one of the
Right.
first financial lessons my father bestowed upon me. He worked for
Right.
Citibank for 20 years. And when I started college, he said, do not he signed me up for an American Express charge card, not the credit card, just a charge card
Charge card.
for emergencies here.
Right.
Back then, the annual fee was maybe $20. And when I finally closed it last year, it was like going up to $100. I'm like, what the hell am I paying $100 a year for an Amex charge card for? So those little things, he felt good being able to, you know, have his own debit card. You know, he felt empowered, but he also knows that, you know what, this is a big responsibility and I don't need to go crazy.
Right.
But I want him to start learning managing his own money as early as possible.
Wow. Yeah. No, it's essential, brother. Like that has to happen with our kids, and you know that's one of the things that I wanted my son to hear, as well as Black fathers to hear. Like teach your kids about taxes, teach your kids about checking your finances. Like that stuff means a lot, and I wanted to make sure that they heard that. You know what I mean?
And then you got Chin Up featuring the legend Bun B.
Keep your chin up, keep your chin up. Just remember these words are forever.
Say, it can be hard to try to navigate your obstacles and find an easier way through it if it's possible. This world is crazy in the way it can approach you, but it's okay, cause I'm here to help you and coach you.
This was the first song that I recorded for this project. I had the verse done for months. When I say months, I mean since like August maybe.
Okay.
And Sharif had put a chorus on it like maybe 2 weeks after I put the verse on it. And then he made the beat as well. So Sharif made the beat and he sang on it.
Right.
And he was like, yo, you should put Blue on it. And I was like, me and Blue have a project coming out in April, produced by Knots.
Nice.
So I was like,
Blue and Knots is such an amazing combo.
Yeah. So, and me.
Yes, they have two whole projects together. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Gods
do,
in the Spirit and Titans in the Flesh. Is it?
Yeah.
But both of those, this is why Blue. I say Blue and Knots because yeah.
It's amazing. So I was like, I don't know if I want to put him on this because we got a whole project coming.
Right.
And then I was like, I'm gonna reach out to Corey Guns. And I reached out to Corey, and Corey said he was down. He was gonna do it. And we spoke. And then the verse never came. and now we're down to the wire. And I reached out to you. I was like, yo, who do you think is a great father MC? And you gave me a whole bunch of names that were great. And then I reached out to Jeff Sledge. And okay. Jeff was like, yo,
shout out to Jeff Sledge.
He was like, what about Bun B? And I was like, Bun? I was like, yeah, Bun will work. It's a bounce beat kind of. So he put us on a chain, and I did 2 records with Bun B back in like a decade ago. So Bun was familiar with me, and he was like, yeah, I'll get it done when you need it by. I was like, this was like Monday. I was like, yo, can I get it by Friday? He had it by Wednesday. Sent the verse in by Wednesday.
He sounds good on it too. Yeah,
he sounds great.
Like it matches. That was great A&Ring on both of your parts right there.
Yeah. So and then he laced it, man. Bun laced it. He did, man. He laced it. I'm internally grateful for him doing that for me at the last minute. I'm glad he did it, and it was just us telling our kids to keep your chin up and giving them life lessons. That's what this is the part of the project where it kind of turns, right? So, it's more of lesson kind of driven project. You know what I'm saying?
And he's great for that, for an uplifting kind of education, not to say educational, but inspirational.
Inspirational, right?
You know,
And he did that lovely.
yeah. And then he had Lessons featuring Bay God.
I done suffered a ton of pain. Katniss Everdeen don't know shit about my Hunger Games. Want my son to lose to experience utter shame. I wanna remove all the hate and the bloody rage. So what if he underage? Gotta face the cold before he get to the summer rain. Fighting to be paid, Wesley Snipes and Woody H. I don't want him money trained. No MCU, I show him another phase.
Yes. So this is the only woman on the project. And I love this record. This is probably my favorite song on the project.
Okay.
I remember writing to this song. The inspiration from this came from Cy Ari the Kid. I had heard his project that he had released, and the flow patterns he was using, I fell in love with. So I kind of, used that as inspiration to write this particular project. I mean, this particular song. And the second verse was really, essential for me to get out. Just talking about mental health and black men's disdain for therapy. And for a long time, there was this thought process that if we went to a therapist that we were crazy, right? And we thought there was something wrong with us when we felt like there was nothing wrong with us. So I wanted to express that on the song and just kind of have this conversation with him on that level. And Genocide Beats, he made this, and then I sent it to Bay God because I felt like the sound of it would fit her voice, and I was right when I sent it to her, and she knocked it out the park. I love that record. It's my favorite song on the project.
Lessons is your favorite, but this next one I think is mine. Malkia featuring Nicholas Grant. That one, I got the goosebumps with this one.
Every stay-at-home mother needs a salary, 6 figures annually to deal with the insanity. Where does a woman find the strength to make it happen? Black goddess, I'm trying to evaluate your tactics. Prowess of the queen, lion laying where the grass is, making sure the family saves my lady's passion.
Yeah. So Malkia is queen in I think Swahili, and I was like, this is a perfect record to kind of shift it to the mother of my son, right? And just kind of talk about this journey that Aisha has been on as a mom, right? Like it feels like, as men, we just kind of don't really understand what women go through during pregnancy, after pregnancy, and then, as the child in their first year, the strain that goes into it, especially it's heightened even more because of COVID. So we don't have the normal help that regular two parents would have. We can't send the baby to the grandparents. We can't send the baby to uncles and aunts. So we've been the only two people that my son has been seeing. And because I do a lot of work, Aisha has been taking a brunt of the responsibilities in terms of care, feeding, and sleep training. So that made me think about single mothers, right? And what they go through, and how tough that can be. And like, I can't even fathom or imagine, a single mother going through what, Aisha potentially, and, Aisha's breastfeeding. So there's not even, we couldn't leave the baby with somebody, even if we wanted to.
Right.
So, I felt that, I had to express a lot of that on this record. Right. And I think Nicholas, he came and he sang extremely well about, what I was feeling.
Yeah.
And I think the lyrics were necessary, right? Like necessary for me to say on that particular song.
What's a line that resonates or that you think people should?
I think the first two lines pretty much encapsulates the whole song. A mother's job's never done, whether she's cooking or cleaning. Postpartum got her up when she should have been sleeping. Like that to me is basically the whole 12 months in a day that we've been experiencing with my son.
Right.
Because her job, it just seems like it's never ending. And, my job is never ending as well. But, I have to sleep at some point, so we can continue to live. And Aisha has to sacrifice that at times because he has no concept of time.
At all.
He has no concept of time in terms of using the bathroom. He has no concept of time in terms of sleep. He has no concept of time in terms of just being a little boy, right? He's just learning. So, she's had to kind of take on the brunt of that, right? And I wanted to kind of, express that to not just be reflective of what I see, but also to my particular male fan base who may have wives or girlfriends or baby mothers,
Right.
to take a look at what it is that mothers are going through during these times. And it resonates because a lot of people have fell in love with that song as well.
Okay. What is she? Has she heard it yet?
Yes, because when we talked, there were two songs that she didn't hear. It was this one and the next one, and I played it for her, and she fell in love with it.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
Definitely touching.
One day I'll be fly enough to make a song for my
One day.
One day. And then you got the altar with my homeboy Showtime.
A lot of doctrine is confusing. Listen to your father, don't follow the illusion. At the same time, don't dishonor people's movements. Gotta be the truest, don't try to be a Judas. Holla to the Louis.
Have you ever been tried by the fire? Felt like you couldn't make it. Bring it all to the altar.
I love his voice, man. That brother. That's one of those anointed voices, man.
Man, this was produced by Justo Beats, and this is another To The Wire record. I had another beat for it, and it just didn't come out good. It just sounded terrible. So this whole song concept almost didn't make it. And this beat was actually one of the first beats that we had for this project, and then I scrapped it, and then I came back to it when the replacement beat didn't work. So this went from plan A to plan C, and it worked fantastically. Showtime was the third option, and he should have been the first option. I reached out to a friend of mine to sing on it. She didn't kind of nail it. Me, the engineer, and a couple other people didn't feel like it went well with the record. So then we had another guy come in and sing it, and it felt right in the studio. And then when we took it back, he was doing way too much. So the project came out Tuesday. I think Showtime submitted his chorus Thursday night. I called him Thursday afternoon. I called Showtime Thursday after. I kid you, I called Showtime like 4:00 in the afternoon. I was like, yo, bro, I need a extreme favor. Can you please sing this chorus? Can you make up something and just... He's like, yeah, Mickey, I got you. I'm gonna go downstairs and knock it out. And we had the chorus at 9:00 that night.
He killed it.
9:00. Nailed it.
And then lastly, You Are Master.
The miniature me, my personal twin. You are my desert island. You are my circle of friends. My gift from God, my angel of love. You are a work of art. You are the greatest of hugs. My benefactor.
Talk to me about this. Is the no feature, no hook.
This was
pop.
Yeah. This record, I think I remember when I was writing this record. I was literally sleep training him. I was in his room. I had him in my arms, and I remember hearing this beat, and I remember looking down at him, and I was like, you are. And the words just it was like water. It just would not stop coming out. It was like, this is divine for me to say all of this on this particular record. And it just kind of meshed well. I wanted to tell him what he meant to me. I felt like this was the great closing to the album.
Okay.
So it encapsulated everything in one 32 bar verse. We actually just shot the video for it last night. And I was writing it and I was like, this is perfect. And then I was like, do I put a chorus on it? Do I have somebody singing on it? And then I was like, John Q. When the boy's in the hospital bed and Denzel's talking to him, I said, that is what I'm going to use for the intro and the outro on this record.
Wow.
And it worked. It worked.
Yes.
It fit perfectly. So yeah.
Whew, look at you, man. Look at you. As much as your son is into the ABCs, what was his reaction when you played A minus? Did he have a reaction when you played A minus?
No, not really. I wrote a different song for him with A minus. So A minus is from him, but like I wrote a different song for him called A. So it's like A, it's the first letter that we say. A, we use it when we play. A, we say it every day. A. So I sing that to him from time to time. So that's what he knows. He doesn't know.
That's a Pop's exclusive. That's just for him.
That's just for him. So A minus he'll probably hear when he's a little older. He's like, he'll be like, whoa, Dad, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping he'll love it.
What were you thinking? You alien, you.
Like, it's your fault, man.
So now it's out. This is like you've had. This is like your second child. Like you've had another child after your child.
Yeah, this is the second child.
How are you feeling?
It's like a weight lifted off of me finally getting it done. We was down to the wire. Right. But now, you know, because it's a last will and testament, every year on this day there'll be something changed to each song every year. So if you bought it, you got it. And if you didn't, when volume 2 comes out, it'll be the same titles, but different experiences. It's going to shift, and the update will come to your phone every year.
Word. That's just a living album.
It's a living will and testament.
Wow. That's fire.
Yes. So every year there will be a different chorus or a different verse, and it'll talk about year 1, and then year 2, and then year 3, and then year 4, and then year 5.
So that might be my headline. Mickey Factz on Hue and Why It's Technically Not Finished.
It's not finished. It's not finished, bro. It's not finished. It's not finished.
The album that will never be finished. That's dope.
Yeah. But that's just like a will, right?
Yes.
Like a will has amendments to them. So whenever there's new finances that come in or there's new trinkets that a person gets, they add more to the will.
Right.
That's what we're going to do.
All right. So is he going to come out and say goodbye? Because I saw him earlier.
I think he might be sleeping now. I'm so sorry.
No,
he might be eating or sleeping, one of the two.
Hey.
Is he up, Ish? He's sleeping. He's sleeping.
Like a baby should.
We had him in was he in the beginning of the thing or
not in the official beginning? No.
Oh,
not
yeah,
sorry. But
that's fine. He was this close.
We were this close, but if that seems like it tracks. I don't know why it seems like it makes sense. He's like, I'm not. No, from what you're saying about his personality, he's like, no, I'm not gonna.
I'm not gonna bend to your
will.
will.
A camera? No.
No. I'm good. And he had a wild birthday, man. So he woke up early, like 6, and then slept, and now I'm talking loud, and he's still sleeping. So it's a good thing.
So was the cake like his first cake?
That was his first cake.
Ooh.
And he went ballistic with that thing. He had a complete blast with that cake.
Oh, man.
On his clothes, on his hands, and his face, on the high chair, on the floor, everywhere. It was like, wow, man, I don't have the patience for this for year 2.
How much of it did you let him eat?
He ate a decent amount of it, man, and then he pooped it out this morning. So that's probably why he was up this morning early.
Yeah. So
It was dope though.
well, then I'll let you go and get. You need to go get a nap because the rule is you need to sleep and they sleep.
Yeah, man. I should have put this on the album. For all you men that all you women and men that want to have kids, take a nap. If you wake up from that nap and you enjoyed it, don't have kids.
Yo, that's perfect. We're gonna
put
sign
that on
up
the album
on that because that's great advice. Because that's the one thing I value more than ever since my kids are almost grown now is being able to take a nap whenever I feel like it.
Yeah, tough, rough. Pray for me, brother. I'm 38, so we ain't gonna get a lot of naps, man.
Oh, yes. Prayers up for you and your wife and
Thank
the
you.
baby.
Thank you.
Enjoy, man. This has been
sir.
great. This has been Fathers Who Bother. Thank you, Mickey.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back, brother. I appreciate you.
For sure, for sure. So I'll hit you up and let you know when I will try to roll this out as close to, since it's already out, as soon as I can.
Okay.
But I gotta juggle some things around.
That's fine. Take your time. I'm gonna chop this up, put it up online so people can see it.
That's what's up.
All
right, brother.
My guy.
Peace.
If you're enjoying Fathers Who Bother, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow us on Instagram at Fathers Who Bother and Twitter at Fathers Who Be. Thanks.